So I've got Luis V. here today, who is the illustrator and artist and amateur paleontologist behind our current exhibition, Dinosaur Revolution. And he's going to talk a bit about the thinking behind the exhibition, why Dinosaur Revolution is important, and answer some questions later on. Before we start, it's wonderful to have the illustrations so big in the exhibition. They're really vibrant and detailed and dynamic, and it's really nice as well that they're not just anatomical models, that you sort of contextualize the animals. So they're just really good.
Well, Dinosaur Revolution is about um, uh, in 19 well, in the 1990s. I always kind of many of us kind of it was a group of paleontologists or pseudo paleontologists or non-complete paleontologists, but everybody understood that the anatomy of many of the dinosaurs was telling us that actually maybe those animals were actually kind of feathered, and but obviously more than anything they were kind of related to birds. The interesting thing about it is obviously we didn't have the kind of the hard evidence for it. We didn't have the rocks with the exception of Archaeopteryx. That is the kind of it was called the first bird, and now it's just another feathered dinosaur. Kind of the kind of preservation you have there, kind of you have the feathers, but they were impressed like kind of you just pressed kind of a bunch of feathers against kind of a block of sand or something like that. So it's a different kind of preservation. And obviously, for example, you have together with Archaeopteryx, you have Compsognathus in the same kind of deposits, but actually they were not kind of one was not feathered and the other one was feathered. So obviously this was a dinosaur and this was not a dinosaur. And it was a bird. And but we were thinking, no, the anatomy of these animals is too similar,
Mhm.
not being related. So one of them belonged to a family, the kind of a one of them is close to Allosaurus. For example, Allosaurus is closer to T-Rex
Mhm.
or something like that. So there were different kinds of dinosaurs. There were too many different kinds of dinosaurs. It's 169 million years
Mm.
of evolution of dinosaurs. And we said, well, no, they were related, but we don't know the external part of the animal, but they were related. They had to be related, and there were big discussions. I'd been in kind of meetings in the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology, kind of well, the meetings. They were ferocious. We were ferocious, really. We were defending our point of view as much as we could.
So it was
Um,
sort of like you were like anti-establishment almost
Very much so, very
because
much so. And I was, I was almost like, how can I say, blacklisted.
yeah,
Yeah,
too 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 radical.
yeah. Well, I was a fantasy kind of artist. My first dinosaur illustration was in 1988.
Okay.
Before that, I already have kind of a career as an illustrator,
Hmm.
and I was doing different, very, very different things, not dinosaurs. But suddenly there was this dinosaur renaissance
Hmm.
that wanted to change everything.
So
Uh,
does this Renaissance sort of start with the discovery of the Archaeopteryx?
no, it started kind of comparing. Well, actually, it was with the discovery of Deinonychus.
Hmm.
Deinonychus, Deinonychus is a relative of Velociraptor.
Yes, which we have one of the animatronic models in the exhibition is the Deinonychus.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, that one, that one. Yeah, and yeah, well, it was a relative of the Velociraptor. The Deinonychus was bone by bone, exactly the same as Archaeopteryx, only 3 meters long,
Hmm.
and obviously couldn't fly.
Hmm.
So what you say, well, obviously this animal, kind of bone by bone, is exactly the same as Archaeopteryx, but it has nothing to do with Archaeopteryx. It's a dinosaur. It's a real dinosaur, but obviously it couldn't fly. How can that be? I mean, was it feathered? And suddenly people like first John Ostrom and Robert Bacher
Hmm.
started with the revolution, really, with the Renaissance. They say no, they were related. Actually, dinosaurs were
Hmm.
actually birds were dinosaurs. So actually, birds was the last branch of Dinosauria.
Hmm.
Dinosauria, Bacher used to say, and he still says, and I agree with him, that Dinosauria has a class. It's a class of animal like mammals. Mammals, you have a like a mouse
Hmm.
and a whale. Obviously, they can't be more different, isn't it? It's
Hmm.
still they are both mammals. Well, you can have a velociraptor, you have a T-Rex, and you have a brontosaurus, to
Hmm.
say something, and all of them are dinosaurs, and they couldn't be more different, all of them. But still, we didn't have all the evidence we needed in the rock to
Hmm.
actually say, well, yes, yes, we have it here. We have a non-bird dinosaur with feathers.
Hmm.
We have that, and everybody was fighting about it. But fights that you don't believe. I've been in fights that the paleontologists can be really nasty when they
Wow. Well,
when they
I suppose if it turns everything that they thought they knew about something on its head, um, I suppose yeah, maybe they're almost like religious fanatics in that way when people have a
Absolutely.
different.
Yes. And not only that, I mean, many people grow up with, I mean, let's say with the dinosaurs of the 50th, of
Hmm.
the, or the 40s, or the 50s.
Yeah, so the
And
ones
they
like
talk
living
about it.
alongside cavemen who would kidnap women.
Um,
Well,
even the more serious ones. I
hmm.
mean, if you don't believe that, I mean, no serious person would believe that.
No.
But there were some very serious paleontologists that grew up with the pictures of Zallinger, or or the scaly dragon,
Hmm.
the scaly dinosaur. You went to the museums and you saw dinosaurs in postures that many several years later
Hmm.
would be proven wrong. But obviously, it's like you couldn't have all the information. It was impossible to have all the information. You
Hmm.
didn't so many times you didn't have the whole skeleton. Let's say let's not talk about the external part of the animal,
Hmm.
but the skeleton itself wasn't complete. So I mean, the more we knew, the more we kept changing our minds, and that's what happened with the for the dinosaur revolution,
Hmm.
because the dinosaur renaissance gave me first such an impression, such a different oh, this is different. This is not the dinosaurs I grew up with. These are dinosaurs that actually look like animals.
Yeah, yeah, because they are animals. Yeah.
Yes, yes, they look like animals. It's not just like dragons or fantasy creatures, no, but real animals. And I love that. I love that. And my first illustration was in 1988,
Hmm.
and it was this is part of it.
Hmm.
I might show you later the,
Oh, excellent.
the whole thing, but this is just one of the animals that are in the
Hmm.
illustration. The illustration is a complete flock of the Deinonychus,
Hmm.
all of them feathered and all of them colorful. You see, nobody had done. colorful dinosaurs before, because all of the other dinosaurs we knew were brown,
Hmm.
gray, or green. That's it.
Hmm.
That's it. And I said, well, my background is Mexican. I love color. I love
Hmm. Yeah.
the use of color. And I said, well, when I see around nature, when I see nature in general, the nature is colorful.
Hmm.
I mean, kind of, especially, for example, if they are feathered, or
Yeah.
we have this kind of integuments, on kind of the skin integuments that might have patterns that would have been kind of adapted to certain kind of environment, and they might have had many kinds of colors, many kinds of patterns, many kinds of things. So I started doing these things, and immediately I was pointed out as a fantasy kind of illustrator. And I said, no, 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 no. Look around you. I mean, birds have feathers for something, and they have different patterns, different colors. Reptiles are also, and both of them have a color vision,
Hmm.
something that, for example, mammals don't have except us,
Hmm.
except primates. Primates, we have color vision because we recover it. Originally, most of the mammals used to live kind of underneath the dinosaurs in the dark,
Hmm.
and they didn't need any kind of color. They lost the color vision. And now we have recovered the color vision because we went on to up to the trees. We started seeing the fruits and everything around things, and we needed to discern from
Hmm.
a leaf to a fruit, for example,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so I said, well, no, I fought a lot to actually my point of having dinosaurs related to birds, and not only that, that the skin of dinosaurs should have been different,
Mm.
different, very, very different. And in 1997, one dinosaur was discovered that actually was not related to Archaeopteryx.
Hmm.
It was more related to Allosaurus
Hmm.
than Archaeopteryx, and it was, it was like a kind of a seeing. There were some deposits in Messel, Germany,
Hmm.
that actually showed the external part of the animal together with the skeleton in the middle. Well, it was exactly like that,
Mm.
and it was a feathered dinosaur. It was called Sinosauropteryx. The thing is that in China they were finding deposits
Hmm.
that allowed to show the external part of the dinosaurs for the first time in detail. I mean, because most paleontologists didn't pay any attention. I mean, they expected they would be scaly, and
Hmm.
that's it. But when they started seeing they were different kind of integuments, I said, well, my goodness, this is a different kind of thing. This is a different kind of revolution. I mean, we need to change the image of the dinosaurs forever.
Hmm.
But for real this time. Obviously, other discussions came later. What sort of integument, what sort of
Hmm.
colors, what sort of etc. And I decided to just keep going with my kind of a colorful version of dinosaur. I
Yeah. Oops, sorry. Is this an area where not being a professional academic paleontologist allows you to be a bit bolder and sort of you for all logical reason to you it seems like they should have been colorful, so you can carve that path out. Whereas if you were bound by sort of institutions and academic thinking and stuff, you would have to wait a lot longer to.
You have to combine imagination
Mhm.
with the evidence and with nature. What do you see in nature? So if you combine those two things, I mean, you are doing your homework. That's
Mhm.
what I. That's what is important for me. do my homework, see what the possibilities are, and use fantasy too.
Hmm.
Why not? I mean, use imagination. I mean, obviously, you I mean, you don't know anything about the color of dinosaurs in the 99% of all of them. There are some very meager kind of starting points of having some melanosomes. There are kind of molecules that show
Hmm.
the color of certain parts of dinosaurs
Oh yeah, with
that
pigment and stuff in the
the
cells. Hmm.
pigment, correct. So they might have been, for example, ginger or
Hmm.
black
Hmm.
or white, but nature is not ginger, black, and white.
Hmm.
No, ginger, I mean, nature is many colors, and especially in birds
Hmm.
and reptiles that have color vision. I mean, they should have had this kind of color. They might have had these colors. So I used that, and I just developed.
Hmm.
But the interesting thing, the other dinosaur revolution, the one that we are seeing right now in your in
Hmm.
the exhibition you have right now, is that everybody thought that, well, if you are let's say related to birds, if you are a dinosaur related to birds, you might have had feathers and you might have had these kind of colors, etc., etc. The other dinosaurs were all scaly,
Hmm.
and they had nothing to do with that, with that, with the ones related to birds. The interesting thing is that we started finding really primitive dinosaurs, ornithischians,
Hmm.
not even saurischians, because you know they kind of had, there were two kinds of dinosaurs normally recognized: saurischians and ornithischians. Saurischians were the ones that gave rise to birds,
Hmm.
and ornithischians had this different kind of pelvis that
Hmm.
looked very much like a bird, but it wasn't a bird. And most of the ornithischians we knew were scaly,
Hmm.
but most of them, really most of them. But we started finding ornithischians, very primitive ones, even the most primitive ones, with quills.
Hmm.
So it's a kind of a quills is like a proto feather.
Hmm.
It's not a feather yet, but it's in kind of coming to be a kind of a feather one day.
Yeah. So would this be this would be similar or dissimilar to the sort of quills that you see in certain mammals, like in a porcupine or something?
Um, Similar, but not the
Mhm.
same,
Yeah,
because
because they'd
we
both
come
be
from the,
keratin based, won't they?
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
everything in the skin is keratin
Hmm.
after all. I mean, we are covered in keratin. I mean,
Hmm.
everything is related to that. But because we come from different kind of different branches
Hmm.
of,
Yeah.
of animal. I mean, kind of mammals would developed their hair in different ways
Hmm.
that kind of a dinosaurs or even pterosaurs
Hmm.
would develop their skin, their kind of their skin coverage. And suddenly we find ornithischians covered in quills, like kind of like a porcupine sometimes, and sometimes not like a porcupine,
Hmm.
but very fine structures, very fine quills. I mean, it was like a complete surprise.
Hmm.
And I said, well, if the most primitive dinosaurs had this kind of integument, why not thinking that actually kind of the whole of Archosauria
Hmm.
developed this kind of integument and just spread around in the kind of in the different branches. Like even T-Rex could have had kind of some sort of feathers. I mean,
Hmm.
that's a very questionable thing, and we could be arguing about it kind
Yeah,
of.
but it's an interesting thing to consider, isn't it?
It's
You
a
know,
possibility.
even if it might not be Correct. It's interesting. The animatronic T-Rex in the exhibition has a sort of what looks like a downy covering of feathers on its shoulders, which is
Well, they were very kind of conservative for me.
yeah, yeah. It's still quite brown, but
Yeah, it's
there
quite
is
well.
the
I mean,
what?
I don't mind the colors.
Mhm,
I sometimes the animatronics. Sometimes I mind the kind of um, the the structure, the anatomy.
mhm,
For example, for the Deinonychus
mhm,
you have there, they actually kind of went to. I mean, all the animatronics were done in China,
mhm,
and the Chinese are very strict in their patterns, and they don't
mhm,
want to change anything they do. But in this case, for example, they use one of my paintings to actually kind of reproduce it very closely.
mm,
It's unbelievable. They took the courage and and things to actually do something that doesn't look like Jurassic Park.
yeah.
Because as you can see in the exhibition, most of the things that we show there are not precisely very Jurassic Parky. So
Mhm.
it's more like a kind of original stuff, thought in a very different way.
Yeah,
And
and
that
I would say that none of although some small children who visited the exhibition might disagree, I don't think any of the dinosaurs are presented in a way that's scary. Almost like just going to a zoo, or for lack of a better comparison.
why I mean, and my question is, we are used to think of dinosaurs as
Hmm
scary monsters and closer to dragons than anything else. I mean, why? I mean, I mean, an ostrich can be very scary
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
attack you. If it attacks you, I mean, it
hmm
can be scary. And
Cassowaries are very scary.
oh, Kakasaris kill you,
They
can
disembowel,
kill you.
don't they? Yeah.
So, I mean, why think always dinosaurs as a kind of as something scary? Because we are used to. I mean, the
hmm
media has always used dinosaurs as something as the emblem of scariness. I
hmm
mean, this is really scary because it's a dinosaur, and it has to be enormous, and it has to be. And actually, you know, most of the dinosaurs probably were very small,
hmm
were really small. If you see a colibri, I mean, or something like that, a
hmm
little bird, I mean, that's a little dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's a so sparrow is a little dinosaur. So I mean, dinosaurs don't have to be scary all the time. They are animals. They were animal parts of the animal world, and they are still are,
hmm
because the last branch of Dinosauria has not died out. They are not completely extinct, and I think it's the dinosaur revolution is precisely about that. The fact that kind of probably, I mean, the two main branches of Dinosauria, theropods and
hmm
ornithischians, were kind of at the beginning were probably kind of covered in some sort of quills or
hmm
some sort of different integument that gave them color. They gave them a different kind of appearance, and obviously most of the first animals of the first dinosaurs were not big, were really small. I mean, the biggest one was about 3 meters long, and that was
hmm
big because here it had already kind of grow up. I mean,
hmm
somehow before that, they kind of had all the archosaurs were small. All the small, for example, pterosaurs that are not dinosaurs, but most of them are small. I mean, and yeah, I want to. I would like to see the children to see dinosaurs in a different light, in a different way. In a kind of
hmm
like the dinosaurs don't have to be scary and monstrous and gigantic. They can be many kinds of things because not all mammals are elephants.
Hmm.
Not all mammals are lions. Not all mammals are whales. So it's a different vision. It's a different vision, and I would like to convey that in this exhibition.